All right, Chooms, we are back at it again. Season 1 is wrapped up. This is Cyberpunk 2087, and I'm here with the crew. We just wanted to get together, talk about the season, talk about what went down. We really appreciate all the support and kind words that we've been getting from you guys. And just to let you know, Season 2 will be coming. We might take a little bit of a break. You know, maybe we haven't really discussed how long the break would be, but we do plan on coming back. Maybe trying some other things in between, some other games together, and all that. Because North is a good GM, so is Board. Steady, I don't know. Do you even do any?
No. I think it'd be chaos if I tried to GM. Everybody would die within the first half an hour because I find it funny. Like, so I'm not a good GM for that reason.
That's great. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, you know, our characters have gone through a lot. There's definitely been an arc through all of them. So by the way, we are without our Netrunner today. He's at Disneyland enjoying the happiest place on earth.
Yeah, good for him.
So good for him. But we're here together. I wanted to go one by one through the characters, talk about their arc. Let's start with North, playing Teddy Eurodyne, the son of Carrie Eurodyne. As we started the campaign, the first note that I wrote here in my notes was daddy issues, which is a big part of it. Born in Japan, mother passed away. Very much a bastard kind of situation, right? Dad's out there doing his thing. But yeah, tell us about how your character has changed throughout the campaign, how he started and how you think he ended.
I think he started off as, weirdly, he started off easier to play and got more difficult as it went on, because normally it's the way around. Because Teddy was such an asshole at the start. And he's just a typical rocker boy, rock star's son who's gone off the rails, Jack Osborne kind of thing. And he's out there just wanting to get a rep so he can get daddy's attention and all that sort of stuff. But as we went on, it did become more difficult because he got more nuanced. He got more. I know everyone was saying, quite rightly so. Like, I think Board's character was saying, you flip flopped there. We were going to go work for Fuji-san, and we're not. But I think that's because Theo changed a little bit, and he started to realize, well, if I'm the face of this group and people see me as sort of a leader, then I'm not going to be just throwing them into the fire. And you sort of realize what you're playing for. When Theo had nothing to live for, basically, because he's lost his girl, he's lost his dad, he's lost his family, he's just throwing himself at that glass ceiling at 1,000 miles an hour. He doesn't care if you go there with him or not. That's your choice. But now, when he started to accrue things to live for, that's when he starts second-guessing and starts going, well, okay, maybe we don't need to take all of the more suicidal jobs. Maybe we don't need to just get in bed with the first big paycheck that gets thrown our way. So I think towards the end, he did regret working with Fuji-san, even though he pushed for it, and he tried to get everybody out of it, especially when Rogue was talking to him about it. And I think he respects older. If you grow old as a merc in Night City, he respects that. Like, he's been taught to respect that. So when she said, "Hey, you're all going to get killed," like, I'm not even going to get a sugarcoat it. Like, I'm not even going to tell you where this is because I'm friends with your dad. So figure it out on your own. That was a big thing because, he knows Rogue is not sentimental like that. It's more of a loyalty thing for her. So, she didn't know Kerry that well. They will be in the same circles. They will know of each other and around each other. So, I think he became a lot more calculating as time went on, and it'd be interesting in season 2 to see where that goes, to see whether he'll stay the course or whether he'll go back to his old ways. We'll see. I tried to play him as the campaign's affected him, not the other way around. He doesn't really affect the campaign. He changes to what the campaign does to him. I think if you take session 1, Theo trying to get into that club, the Maelstrom Club, and you juxtapose him with session 5 or 6, Theo, when he's trying to talk people down for even going to to the Bozo thing. They're like, you can tell it's the same guy, but he's seen some shit now, you know?
Yeah, he's more seasoned, that's for sure. Like he's not the merc that he started with, you know. He started as, and you know, because all of you guys started with Arata, which we'll get into later. But basically, the fixer that you work with says more about you. You know what I mean? And you know, so you guys have definitely graduated from there. So moving on to Darby. Darby, our resident tech, started with an AI that was in his drone, that was in his hat, and really didn't have anywhere to go. Tell us about how Darby's changed.
Well, his backstory was kind of bland, unfortunately. I mean, we discussed off stream a bit that I should have maybe embellished a bit more on his history, because it kind of he fitted this sort of bland sort of persona of an orphan with no friends and no enemies really, apart from Hexbit, which we know his demise during the course of the sessions. But yeah, I would say Darby, one of the main things Darby realizes is he's actually quite a fucking badass martial artist, and he didn't even realize it. But yeah, the biggest story arc I would say for him was this sort of awakening of this emergent AI that is Aura, sort of blossoming, or in more ways than one, possibly. We'll see maybe in next season what happens with Aura. But yeah, she definitely took most of his attention in terms of the progression. But as for sort of Darby himself, he's still a bit meh. I don't know. He didn't really. I don't know. Anybody else got any views on Darby? Like, I feel like him as a character, he didn't really shine too much, at least in this season.
But no, I think he did because of his relationship with Aura. I think that's the one thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She's a star. He's a sort of like the side tag along, whatever. Like,
but the thing is, though, is that when you're role playing, you've got to play a version of yourself, not yourself, but a version. You're not a very outgoing, brash person, and neither is Darby. And you always need that foil. When me and you were in university, that was me. Do you know what I mean? Like, you need that foil to like take you out and then go, oh, like, steady, and you're having fun and all that sort of thing. Same thing with Darby and Aurora. It was weird how that worked out, where you got yourself somebody to play off of all the time. I think it was cool. Like, first few sessions, it was me. It was Theo and Darby who were playing off each other, and then eventually it became Aura and Darby, and that shows like how he's, you know, gone up in.
I think by the end it was almost like Aura and the rest of the group. Like, everybody seemed to have an input with her, and she obviously had a lot of input with everybody else towards the end.
Yeah, well, that was your direction as well, is that you?
I think that was the only direction, and I think he does feel somewhat indebted to Aura, because having been orphaned and sort of in this crazy night city, he's not a world character. He's quite a lonely guy, and I think that's possibly the main reason why he went through with letting her sort of have the new body that I can't remember, the battle suit or whatever that mech that they got. I can't remember the name of it, sorry.
Yeah. I forgot to ask North, what are your predictions for your character in season 2? What do you think is going to happen?
God, that is difficult. I'm not sure. Like in terms of what he wants to do, get away from Fujisan as quickly as possible, and then extricate themselves from there, and then start working on their own with a better fixer. I think he's got his eye on Rogue as a fixer, or somebody of that ilk. I think Theo now thinks, well, it's the one trump card, isn't it? It's like, well, you guys have only been doing this together for like a year. Yeah, but have you done this? Do you know anyone who's done this? You know, it is a hell of a thing in like Titty to be able to say stuff like that. So I think he's automatically looking beyond the shores of Fujisan, and I know Fujisan are Arasaka proxy, but they're not Arasaka.
Yeah.
These aren't a level fish. It's like, pissing off. We're basically pissing off the 17th biggest corp in this city. Fuck him. That's what he's thinking. I think he's just like, nah, I'm good. We're good. We're gonna be fine.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Fujisan is expendable, right? Arasaka created them as a way to operate in Night City without being, too involved with certain things. So if something goes wrong, they could pull the cord on that at any time and disavow them,
Yeah.
So, which is like, ironically exactly what they could do with what Fujisan could do with you guys at any time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. I think Theo thinks he's, Fujisan think we're that in the feud train, like it's Arasaka, then Fujisan, then us. I think Theo now thinks no, it's Arasaka, then us, then Fujisan. That's what this is now. We should be up here. So if we need to burn the lab down, burn everything down to get out of from under it and go our own way again, that's what we'll do. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
But we'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah. So Darby, your character, I think brass tacks, your character has shown a lot of growth, because just looking at the stats of the people that he's killed personally.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? These are like big people, like a big boss from Maelstrom. Like, there was a few other ones that were leaders, and even though he's kind of like a quiet, unassuming guy, he has a kill count, and that matters in Night City. That makes him a Night City legend.
Yeah, agree. Yeah,
and
the martial arts badass.
Yeah, and also he, a very enigmatic gang in Night City, the Bozos, have taken an interest with you and your AI, you know what I mean? And that's something that I don't know if there's anybody else that can relate with Darby on that subject, you know what I mean? So you're in a special...
Yeah, I was talking more in like the Darby as a person. I don't know how much character growth he's had, apart from like vicariously through Aura or through the deeds he's done. I would try and maybe do that, expand that more in season 2, see how we do. Or I think ultimately going forward, his destiny is entwined with Aura. So depending on what Aura happens with Aura, will probably be what happens to Darby.
Well, look,
she gets snubbed or whatever,
Yeah, I mean, well, looking at your backstory for Darby, he was exiled, part of a drift nation, didn't really have anybody, was on his own, wasn't really respected. The Voodoo Boys worked with him, but they obviously didn't respect him or see him as an asset. And the only person that really cared about him was Theo and Aura, and Aura's not even a person. You know what I mean? So now Darby's in a position where he matters, there's something about him that matters. So there is a potential for his arc to become something more than he was before.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
What's Darby's opinion on all this? He's been okay with going along with all of this stuff with Aura and letting it flourish, and becoming an emergent AI and a sentient AI.
Yeah.
Why do you think Darby's doing all that? Do you think it's because he cares about Aura, or he just wants to see what happens and all that?
I think he sees Aura as a family member, because with him being orphaned on the drift, after the Drift Nation sort of sank, he washed up in Night City. He had no one else. He got used a lot for his technical abilities through various gangs and things like that. And Aura is the closest thing to a mother, sister, whatever, family member that he's had. So I think originally when there was the sort of idea that she was going to absorb other AIs and sort of grow, he was a little bit scared, because obviously it's like a parent with a child. There's a certain point that they're going to make their own decisions. So I think he had that sort of battle internally, and I think and that was the time when he was talking to Slink about maybe having ways of trying to container where we were going to do a Faraday cage, and he even went to some lengths of building that Faraday cage. But as the sessions went on, he grew to realize that she's her own entity now. And in many ways, she's saying all the right things to him. She could be just, talking very sweetly to him and getting him to be on side, but he's going along with it thus far.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. I'm looking forward to that. Moving on to
exactly.
Doc. Doc, you were born a corpo, living the best life, going to the best schools, literally living the high life in Night City in a corporate zone because of your father and his accolades. But something happened with him in Biotechnica where he didn't want to perform some kind of procedure for somebody. We don't know the exact details, but basically he became persona non grata for Biotechnica, and your family lost everything. And at the end of the day, Biotechnica actually killed your father. And you told me in the beginning of this campaign that Doc resents his father for what happened, and all he wants to do is gain status and gain some kind of monetary advantage so he can get himself out of the situation that he's in. No thanks to his father. Tell me about how your character has changed.
Well, he's changed in the way that he's continued down this very fine line of chaos where he's just tilting near the edge where he could fall over, where he started in the bleeding heart, and he always tried to play everything very safe, playing everything, not going out of his way to do anything too risque, dare I say. And obviously started doing more jobs, and as different events have happened, he's slowly getting more and more, dare I say, unhinged, as he's starting to, just based on the roles for the empathy, the humanity stat, which is what how I decided to play it as, is he started to see enemies everywhere and almost be very paranoid. He pretty much only sees his only friend as, and the person he only cares about is probably Theo. Even with the group currently, I don't think he particularly, he sees, not to give too much away, but he sees the rest of the group as basically useful. But even them, he's, I think, still very suspicious of, particularly when the AI has been introduced.
Yeah.
And I think he feels where in the beginning he was slowly just making his cred, making that money through the clinic. With the opening of the drug business, he feels guns are slowly turning towards the group and evidently him. And then we also have the AI side where he doesn't really even have much to do with that, but he feels like a target's being put on his back now if Netwatch finds out, or other interested parties find out about that. And yeah, it's starting to affect him very negatively. He's starting to act out and get a bit twitchy.
Yeah, I did notice that he wasn't there for the celebration at the afterlife. Like, he had to be called to come, so he's kind of like disconnecting himself from the party at times. There was that incident with the grinder that we all remember, where the rest of the party was kind of disgusted by the spectacle, where Doc was celebrating it, and then his assistant quits. So there's definitely things that are changing within Doc, or maybe his true personality is coming out in the end. What do you think?
Yeah. I think because of his father, he's worried about betrayal. so much, and it's made him paranoid. And that's particularly why he really pushed for going after Arata. When Arata basically hit his business, now it became personal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like a very sensitive subject for him. And I think the more he sort of starts, how do I put this, cutting away at these things he finds enemies or nuisances or things stopping him towards his goal, bits of his humanity start shredding away. And eventually, if it continues, you'll just find yourself a monster.
Yeah, I get that. So
the interesting thing about the grinder situation was initially I was actually playing it. Doc was actually, what he was trying to do was he didn't want Maelstrom to think we're taking something away from them. But then I realized with the reaction, it's actually more suited that he's actually just starting to lose it a bit in certain situations. Because, he's not rolling very well, dare I say.
Yeah, so what does that mean narratively?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And with his assistant quitting, I don't know what you have planned, but depending on what happens there and the officer showing up, not that he knows this, but like if certain things get unveiled and if, there can be some hectic things going to happen. If he thinks he's been betrayed, let's put it that way, then it's might get more and more radical.
I think it's like interesting where you mentioned that him and Theo are friends, and Theo definitely does think that as well. But I also think that it is very interesting how your changing mindset in Doc is causing a bit of friction there. So the only tether he's got to a human relationship is also quite strained because of nearly every decision recently has been like Theo's over here and Doc's over here, but they both want the same thing. But it does seem that way. So I'm wondering in the new season whether that'll go that way or it'll come back into. I'm thinking it'll come back into the middle. To be honest with you, I think that they both realise that we both want the same thing, but also it is Doc's the character weirdly that I'm most worried about in real life. You know what I mean? Not in a he might die in combat, just in his general capacity and how how things have affected him. He's the one that I'm actually go, if I was in this group, I would be like, I hope that guy's okay. That kind of a thing.
Yeah.
There's definitely a rising tension between Doc and the group. It's you can clock it, you can see it happening throughout the campaign, and I think it's PvP done right. You know what I mean? Because if there is player versus player conflict within the group, most times it doesn't end well or it doesn't begin well in tabletop RPGs. But if it's done the right way, then there is something that can be explored, and I think this is an example of it being done the right way, where Doc's not actively trying to kill the party members or betray them or hurt them or steal from them, but he is looking out for himself and his own interests, and sometimes that clashes with the interests of the party and interests of their goals. And so far it hasn't caused any irreparable damage or anything like that, or even any damage that any significant damage, but we can see that the path it's leading to can cause some kind of conflict. There have been arguments already. There have been blow-ups, for more than one topic. So I think it's really cool. As a game master, it's awesome. I love peeling back the curtain a little bit. I love the whole thing about it and exploring it and seeing where it goes and being along for the ride and letting you guys work it out. So that's going to be a lot of fun for season 2. We'll see how that goes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think mutually between Darby and the Doc, there's no love lost really. Like it's like a working relationship. I feel like more than
Yeah.
anything, especially like where that the doc sort of voiced his views on aura and stuff like that, and it's like you know that if some person picked on your brother or sister or something at school, you don't like that person anymore. So yeah, that's basically sort of like Bard's perception of. Sorry, not Bard. Darby's perception of Doc.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think any of the players or the characters would want to replace Doc in their group. I don't think there's room for another person to take his place. I think he still has a valuable part. He's a valuable part of the group. But there's definitely tension that's, building up from all of it. Now, Slink is not here, so Slink can't comment on what's going on, but I think it would be okay for us to maybe dissect the character and see what's going on.
Yeah.
Slink started as a net runner, basically the same way that Darby did, kind of on their own. And Slink has like a really weird past with a mentor of theirs called Frank, who's super mysterious. We don't know anything about him. He has like weird cryptic messages like, I'll be frank with you, let me be frank with you. And we don't even know if Frank's his real name. It's probably not. And he's taught Slink everything that he knows, and that's why Slink is such a amazing net runner. And as time has gone on, she has become even more of a notorious net runner and infamous and all those things. In the last big combat encounter that we had with the Bozos, Slink was a vital role in stopping it before it got any worse.
Yeah.
So, and also working with Darby, Slink has been able to kind of guide the whole emergent AI situation and try to help him out with that. So, North, what do you think? How has Slink changed? What's going on with Slink? What are your opinions with it?
In terms of personality, I don't think Slink's changed too much. Mainly because she was so net runner-ish. In these stories, it's always the net runners who don't change for so long until they do. Then they basically just become a different fucking person, like straight away. You know what I mean? Like every single Cyberpunk thing, Neuromancer's that as well. Case in that is a normal. He's not normal. He's a net runner who. It remains the same for the vast majority of the novel, then instantly changes when something happens towards the end through the net and things. So I think that's born out of net running characters needing a very strong sense of self to be able to gestate themselves in the net and have a presence there and to manipulate it. So I think weirdly David played it really well in that Slink hasn't changed a lot, but also I think with that book that we got now, I think with things are going to start changing for Slink going forward. So yeah, she hasn't changed a lot, but she has done a lot. That's the thing there, where she's essentially carried the group at times in certain situations. Like I know. Weirdly, I think coming into this, I think people thought Theo would be really powerful because he's a merc and could do different things, and he was in the first session or two. But I think as soon as Darby and Slink started to get a feel for their characters, they started to realize how many more options there are for them, and they started really racking up those kills and racking up those. I don't think it's any, because normal people are just at such a disadvantage in the setting. I don't think it's any coincidence that the session where we nearly lost somebody was the one where it was just Doc and Theo.
Yeah, that's true.
That I don't think that's I don't think that's a coincidence. So yeah, she didn't change too much, but she didn't have to. That's not what netrunners do. They need that sense of self. They need to be almost autistic in the way that they just don't change until they do. And it'd be very interesting to see if that Frank thing does rear its ugly head, what's going to happen to her going forward. It's just going to be kind of mental.
Now, there's many facets to Slink that many unknowns as well. With we don't really know how much she wants to find out about Frank. It seems outwardly that she's got some sort of direction there that she really wants to know, but she doesn't want to let the rest of the group know. She's very inward thinking in that way. But there's so many cryptic parts to the Frank character and what his dealings were with Slink, and also like Hexbit and the other people that we've encountered that have had relations with Frank. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where she goes. But I'm inclined to agree with North that she could be one of these people that is just like, you don't see anything, and then all of a sudden she's just going to explode and kill everybody or something because somebody said the wrong thing at the wrong time or whatever. But yeah.
What do you think? What does Doc think about Slink?
Doc is not really sure what to think about Slink. She's so mysterious that he can't really get a pin on her. Almost. He obviously respects her skills, but he's not really sure where to put her in the sort of social hierarchy of the group, of where she fits in, what her intentions are. He knows obviously she's very into what's happening with Frank, but it unnerves him. He doesn't know enough. And yeah, once again, working into, he'll do jobs with her, but he similar to Darby, he's sort of keeping her at arm's length, but he's more worried about what Darby's dealing with than her.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose the thing with Aura's sort of overshadowed a lot of the other sort of stuff that's gone in the group.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely respects her skill, but difficult for him to pinpoint. She also very much keeps to herself.
Yeah. Yeah, she does keep to herself. I think, as a GM, looking at the character on face value, she was an orphan that was raised by this guy who is a netrunner. He taught her everything that he knows. But just as soon as he brought her in and took care of her and raised her, he disappeared with no explanation or anything, And in her mind, she's like, this is basically my father figure. And he just left, and I don't know what's going on. Then she finds out later on, as she's a merc, using the skills that Frank taught her, is that there were others like her that Frank had raised as well, in the same way. And they have code names, and there's like cryptic notebooks, and so now the mystery is even deeper. And she's like, what the fuck, like, what is this, so inwardly there's a lot of like pain and torment and resentment, and trying to figure out what the hell is going on, why all this happened to her, why was she orphaned, why did he leave, why did he raise her to be this net runner, why is she so good, and to what end did all this happen,
Yeah.
So and then in between, she's been there to witness all kinds of crazy things, like the grinder, North hitting on a girl at the nightclub, the bozos,
Tire car assassin.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So and then she's just kind of along for the ride. There's an emergent AI, and she's along for the ride. So she has a lot of stuff going on in her life already besides Frank. But as she's making a name for herself, whether she, meant to or not, she's a known netrunner now. You know what I mean? Now, like, the word's out that she works with the bozos or had an encounter with the bozos and survived. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which it didn't get turned into like some weird bozo herself. And, so.
I mean, that's got to be like some sort of Night City first, hasn't it? World first, or whatever you want to call it. That. For Slink to have had that parley with bozos, and so if anyone else wants to, she's the go between now. They might come to her.
As close as the characters are with the bozos, the characters still don't know much about the bozos, but they know more than maybe anybody. And that's what Rogue kind of told you guys is like nobody knows anything about them. Not even not even corporations. Nobody. Fixers. I've been working this town my whole life. I don't know anything about them. So the fact that you guys are so close with them, which is not even that close if you think about it, but it's closer than anybody else, is what really gives you guys the legendary status in Night City, you know? So yeah. As far as predictions for Slink, I think that we're going to unravel more of the mystery with Frank, see where Slink wants to go with the character. Maybe, you know, with Aura as well, becoming emergent. Slink
seems to be quite invested with Aura now, doesn't she?
Yeah, she wants to get involved with Aura as well. She's worried about the Black Wall and you know, Netwatch and all those things, you know, which you should be. So yeah, those are all good. As a game master, I think this is an awesome group with so much depth between all of them. You know, there's so much more to check out, and now the potential has just begun. Before we get into the next thing, I do want to talk about Blue Lace Plus, because it is the big blue elephant in the room. And basically, just to, like, you know, give you the game master idea of it, I was, as a game master, you guys brought up the idea of like, hey, why don't we manufacture this drug and like make money as like drug dealers, basically.
Yeah.
And that, you know, as a good game master, you know, not to toot my own horn, but a good game master would be like, okay, let's see where this goes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know what I mean? You guys want to do this? Fine. I think a poor game master would be like, oh, no, I got to cut this right here. You guys are going to make way too much money. Yeah. It's going to be, but experience has taught me that, you know, everything has a consequence. So, you know, all the money, all the fame and all the fortune, we've all seen Scarface. We know how it ends for Tony Montana. You know what I mean? So we've seen Narcos, real life situation. We know how it all ends. You know what I mean? Yeah. So at the end of the day, I think it's interesting to see where it goes, because here you are working with Fujisan, trying to make, you know, $2,500, and then you sell Blue Lace, you make $80,000. You know what I mean? Which is like insane. It makes Fujisan's, the job that you did for Fujisan and the danger that you put yourselves in, so trivial. You know what I mean?
Yeah. With that, I think the party, and particularly Theo and Doc, of putting themselves in like as a target for many people that we just maybe don't even know about right now. Like there'll be people around Night City that are not happy about this Blue Lace or sort
well,
of.
That's what Doc feels. The guns are turning on us because we had that encounter. I can't remember the guy's name, but he was talking about a shipment that disappeared, or
Hornet.
Hornets, yeah. And you know, the guns are turning, guys. The guns are turning towards us.
Was that when you Giselle was getting the precursor? Was it that shipment, or am I thinking of a different person that was talking?
I think it was Giselle was there. I think she was getting she was.
I know there was somebody who was saying that they were short shipments or whatever, and I think it was because you were getting.
I think it was Hornet,
pseudo or whatever from her.
Yeah, Giselle basically cat burglared some of the precursor stuff that you needed to make the $80,000 that you did. You know, obviously it was worth it. Giselle made her money too, but Hornet came by and basically said like, "Hey, have you guys heard anything about that?" And pulled out a bag of Blue Lace and came up to you and said like, you know, "Oh yeah, isn't this interesting that this stuff is out there on the street and my stuff is missing?" And that's crazy, huh? Anyway, have a good night, you know. And he's like a big time drug dealing fixer in Night City, very well known. So, you know, it's kind of, as a game master, I wanted you guys to know like there's attention on you.
Yeah, there's people looking.
There's people looking. There's people asking questions, and you know, maybe there will be more in season 2. You know what I mean? And your assistant Doc quitting one of the main reasons she quit was because of Blue Lace. She's like, I didn't get in it to be like, a drug dealer, whatever you guys are doing. There's too much attention, and I can see the writing on the wall. I'm out of here, is what she said.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a, little bit of a foreshadow of like maybe what the characters are thinking as well, So yeah,
Well, to be fair, like that's what Theo thinks as well. It's just he can't leave. It's like what he's saying. If he could like hand in his resignation to get everybody out of there, he would. It's not as if it's
very much that scene from John Wick when he's talking. I can't remember the guy's name, but he's talking to the old friend, and he said, "You stick one pinky in this pond, you're going to find something pulling you back in." I think that's very much what it is for us.
Blood in, blood out. That's the kind of idea.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You can't just walk away.
We got in bed with Fuji-san because that was the right thing to do at that time in the party's life, wasn't it? We needed a new place. We needed to start these drug operations and stuff. And now we're paying for it now. Well, not paying for it. Hopefully we get away with it.
I think that's what Theo was trying to say. Like, we needed them then, and now we don't. Yeah. It was one of them where
I think everyone's on board with that. I think where opinions differed between Theo and maybe the rest of the party was that we were sort of somewhat honourable to our street cred, or whatever you want to call it, Night City cred, that we had to see the job through in order to not look like pussies, or whatever you want to call it.
I think Theo is kind of more in tune with not honor but street cred, in that he's saying, well, but we have the street cred. Fuck corporate honor. Like from the 17th megacorp, not even a megacorp in this city, who other corporations look at and laugh at. I think Theo's point is more like, if we just fuck off, Fuji-san, that'll get us on the radar of Arasaka and people like that even more. They'll be like, what? They just walked? Just walked. Like, what are they gonna do? No, we did their job for them, and then we walked. And
the party's united now, aren't we? Now that we've dealt.
Oh yeah, we are. Yeah.
Got a resolution.
Well, once we've done whatever the final shindig Fuji-san want to do, then the job is complete, and I think then Doc's definitely on board of saying no new contracts, or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, they can't even pay you what you guys make now. You know what I mean? And that's the other thing. It's like, that kind of money comes with its own problem. More money, more problems, We've heard that kind of saying before. So that's why, as a game master, I was okay with letting you guys go down this path, because I have so many tools to challenge you, And it's like, okay, here's all the money. Now what do you want to do? You know what I mean? Guess what? There's consequences to all this money. But it also changes the shape of the campaign, because as soon as you guys got paid, he sent you the 2,500 eddies, and you guys are looking at it and you're like, we went through all that for this? You know what I mean? When I got 80 grand in the bank account or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, was it really worth it for this? You know what I mean? I could buy this building too. What did they even do for us? So I think all that adds a depth to the characters and what they're going to go through.
It's very ominous as well, because we have got, like, we're upsetting a lot of people, and a lot of people that we don't even know anything about, and I think that's going to raise its ugly head in the next season.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's talk about Arata, the famous fixer that came and went. The first session of the campaign, I wanted it to be a pretty standard kind of session, just to see like how our characters play. You guys were all new to the system, so as a game master, I wanted to get a very simple thing: go to the place, do the thing, get paid. You know what I mean? There's a MacGuffin there, go get it. But Arata was, I believe, in all of your backstories, but I think he started in your backstory, right, Theo?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think he started off as a fixer that I didn't like, because I think when we were rolling up our characters, I had an enemy And I don't think we rolled it up. He was a fixer, but we very quickly said it's a fixer because Theo's a merc and he's kind of an assassin sort of a dude. And then, of course, we get Iraqi in there as well, who is his ex-girlfriend. Well, no, his girlfriend who was killed on Arata's orders, nearly. And that kind of set him up as this slime ball, you know. I think it was quite important to show what low to mid-level mercs have to deal with, because he is so shit at his job and he is so likely to get you killed. And I think you did a really good job in representing that, because he just came across as somebody who just like, it came across, even he didn't know how stupid he was, you know, like he had, it's like Arata had no idea how idiotic he was. Like he literally thought he was the it kind of like Dexter Deshawn, it kind of like that. He didn't have any real clue of what he was doing. He was just very, very good at making people think that he knew what he was doing. And the fact that Theo saw through him kind of meant that they were instantly biggest enemies, because that was just, you know, because Theo, in a weird way, Arata saw. No, I don't think he did actually. I don't think Arata even saw who Theo actually was, so he didn't see much worth in him. And I think that's why, in the end, Theo sort of came out on top in their relationship, is because Theo saw right through what Arata was, and was able to play that card and say, "Listen, I know I can destroy you, you know, and you don't know. You could probably destroy me if you really wanted to, but you don't see the worth there." And that was his big downfall, is that he thought he was a top fixer when he's really just, well, he's a Arata, and everyone didn't really like him. You know what I mean? And your rep is everything in Night City, and he didn't have it, sort of a thing. But yeah, he did start off as in my background, in my backstory. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, as I said earlier, the fixer you work with is a representation of, you know, your reputation and all that. And I wanted you guys to know that this guy sucks so bad. He's so bad at his job, and he's such a rat. But that's like who you guys are working with right now. You know, unfortunately, like that's what it's all about right now. One day you'll graduate beyond him, but for now, this is the only guy giving you work. And so how I really wanted to put a point on that with Arata was with the first mission, he sent you guys to go get a cyberarm at a Maelstrom hangout. It was at a Maelstrom bar, but at the same time, he double crossed you guys and told the Maelstrom guys that you were coming. So, you know, if you guys succeed and get the arm and bring it back, even better. You know, he'll go sell the arm, make his money, he'll pay you guys whatever. But if the Maelstrom guys kill you, then he gets in the good graces of the Maelstrom because he gave them the tip that some guys are coming to kill him. You know what I mean? So that's the kind of guy Arata is. He's double dipping basically, and doesn't care about. He's just
never double dip. You double dip the chip.
Any good fixer with you know, anything would have known that that's a dumb thing to do. That's not what you do. You have to have some kind of, you know, etiquette and ethics. But Arata is not a good fixer, and that was the whole idea of it. So, anything you guys want to add about Arata before we talk about his demise?
Love to hate him.
I think he just bit off more than he could chew. If he'd have took it more steady, he probably would have worked his way up there. Yeah, there you
intentional?
Go.
No pun intended.
A bit like Icarus, he tried to do too much and pissed off too many people before he had the power to do so. And then, yeah, that's how you end up in a crusher in front of the Maelstrom.
Yep. Yeah, he was definitely he was desperate. That's what it was. And I wanted to show the desperation. He was willing to do like dumb things to try to get status. And then after you guys succeeded, he basically rode the coattails of your success without giving you any credit and tried to like make something big happen. And that's when we got to our solo session, or a side gig, I mean, with Doc and Theo, where Theo almost died. We almost lost Theo.
I was laughing watching that session, just them trying to get through the turbines.
Yeah.
It's a wonder they never electrocuted themselves or something. Just before they even got into the
Hey,
warehouse.
look, we pulled off the job.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got it done. And
Yeah.
just to say, that was the thing. Arata's actual downfall is he happened to piss off the wrong people that would want to see him fall at the cost of one of them even maybe dying.
Yeah. He definitely made the mistake in thinking that you guys were the kind of mercs that he can mess around with in that way, and that the consequences would be, not significant. But that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case at all. You guys are crafty. You figured out what was happening, what his next big play was, and you were like, we're going to ruin his next big play. And it resulted in him being so deep into the gutter that no one even cared to even kill him for what he did. And he just...
I mean, didn't he go even piss off Viper and Barracuda? Or what? Is it Barracuda, the other one?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Viper and Barracuda, yeah.
Yeah. They even managed to piss them off, and there where he's like, bodyguards, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's not the way to survive in Night City, is piss off everybody that's supposed to be there to protect you as well.
Yeah, Viper and Barracuda... Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to say how Viper and Barracuda were another pair of interesting characters that I wanted to add, because I wanted them to kind of be parallel with you guys in where you guys started. You guys were basically on the same level as Viper and Barracuda. They're mercs just like you, working with Arata just like you, but the only difference is you guys graduated and they kind of just stayed exactly where they were. And they weren't enemies of yours, they were just doing their job, but they didn't like Arata either,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The simpler life might have been more to their liking. Although the Barracuda ended up nearly dying in front of the Maelstrom, so he owes us big time for saving his life. And
Yeah, we did say that to Theo.
What?
So he recognizes that.
Yeah, he was definitely collateral damage because he still worked with Arata even after everything that went down. When Arata was in the gutter, Barracuda was like, hey, do you have a job for me? You know what I mean? And then that led to Maelstrom wanting to find him. Which, before we get to Heavyset, why don't we talk about Hashi Gonzalez, the Fujisan exec that you guys met with. He came to you guys and initially tried to make you guys sign a contract, but cleverly realized that wasn't going to work. And
I felt so bad that you'd gone to the effort of drawing up that contract only for us to all shit on it from I mean, all that effort, and then we're like, no, we're not signing this, or we've got all these stipulations. So you basically just it felt like you had to concede that we weren't.
No. As a game master, dude, I'm telling you, it served its purpose because it elicited the response that I wanted it to. I wanted you guys, and as I was drafting it, I'm like, they'll be so stupid to sign this thing. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what it was. You guys went through it and you're like, this is crazy. We would never sign this, Maybe Viper and Barracuda would have, They probably wouldn't have even read the contract and been like, oh, this is awesome. We're going to work with Fujisan. It's better than working with Arata. Sign away. You know what I mean? But it showed the difference in where you guys thought that your characters would go. So opinions on Hashi. What do you guys think?
The corporate climber. Bog standard corporate climber. I'm not really for or against. I honestly don't even think he's a bad guy. I just think he just wants to climb the corporate ladder.
Yeah.
I'm feeling more like it's Arata with a higher IQ right now. That's my sort of perception.
Good way of putting it. Good way of putting it. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, unlike Arata, he's done exactly what he said he's going to do the entire time. He hasn't led us on. He hasn't, he hasn't lied to us. He hasn't tried to take credit for anything that we've done without giving us due credit. What he said, anyway.
That's it.
But also, we do know that through metagaming because some of his higher ups have been on the phone in sessions at the end. So saying, so he has been talking to them. Characters don't know that, but we do.
Yeah.
So he has done exactly what he said he was going to do. So he's several levels above Arata, I would say, but still very, shall I say, treating him with caution. Well, I think is what I'm doing. Treating him with a lot of caution, with a lot of like standoffish, that kind of a thing.
If there's anything the group's learned is to not get burned twice by corpo people. So we're definitely keeping him at arm's length.
Well, he's using us, but he's honest about it.
Yeah, and I don't think we're going to really be seeing him very much going forward, are we? If we're moving past Fuji-san.
Same thing that Elusive Man says in Mass Effect. He goes, Jacob doesn't trust me, but at least he's honest about it. That kind of a thing. It's okay to not trust each other as long as you're above board. And he knows we don't trust him, and we know he doesn't trust us. So, it's a marriage of convenience. And I think for all of his honeyed words of this and that, he knows it's a marriage of convenience. Him buying the building, I mean, who cares? That's pocket change to him, and the corp. So, I think the danger comes when he realizes that he's not dealing with small-time mercs that are impressed by, him flashing his wallet and flashing a building our way, and I think the big danger of the final session was him getting sort of put out and then realizing, wait, they're not even bothered about this $2,500.
We let it slip. I think
that's dangerous, because now he's like, okay, these either have potential to outstrip what I can do and to just leave me behind, or they're already there and they're a real problem.
He's no longer holding all the cards because he had us buy the Sean Curleys with
if we'd have just said, great, thanks,
premises and everything,
we would have been like, that would have been like 4D chess. If we'd have just said, great, thanks, awesome, I'm going to spend this on some hookers or whatever, right? Like a typical merc. He'd have gone, cool, got him, not right where I want him. And I've got some idiots, but some very, very, very useful idiots, and I'm going to keep them around. Now that we've sort of turned our noses up at that, and we still took it, but we covered it up pretty quick. We're like, but now we've turned our noses up at that. I think it might ring alarm bells in his head, like, wait, why? Okay, okay. If they can do this and they're obviously making a lot of money somewhere else. So that's danger for me.
Like, information's money as well in Night City. So if we don't know what connections he's got with other drug baron people, like if he puts two and two together and thinks that we're the Blue Lace Plus people, he might spill the beans to somebody who would like that information.
Yeah.
We shall see.
Yeah, I think that the way that I played Hashi is I wanted you guys to know that he is obviously, not an idiot. He knows how things work. He's obviously, well versed on the relationship that you guys have. He's treating you with the respect of knowing that you guys know what the relationship's all about. And I wonder, actually, how do you guys feel about the whole handshake thing that he did? What do you think that stemmed from? Instead of signing the contract, you think that he got in trouble for doing that, or what do your characters think, or you guys personally think about that?
Doc, do you want to start? Oh.
Yeah, Doc, you start. I'll go in reverse order.
I think it definitely seemed a bit unorthodox. And I think in Doc's mind, it sort of caught him off guard a bit. And it did put in that, or maybe this guy isn't your stereotypical corpo.
Yeah.
Definitely came across as charming. So yeah, it's, and I definitely think it's kept the group guessing, what are we gonna do about this Hashi character? And I think even Darby said, does this guy want out? Does he want to get out?
Yeah.
what is, maybe he is someone we could still work with. Maybe not Fuji-san, but we could still work with this guy. Yeah. Darby?
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of reason for thought. The fact that he's clearly not playing corpo by the corpo rule book. He's bending the rules. He's trying to appease us or appear to appease us in some ways by not making us sign the contract and things. But it could, from Darby's perspective, I think it's like a double-edged sort of, well, not double-edged, but there could be two ways to look at it. He could either be wanting to get out, or he could be a corpo, but not who says he is. Like, he's making out that he's just sort of like a fairly low-level guy, but maybe he's actually higher than what he appears to be, and that's why he can make these decisions. Because you would think that the Fujisan board or executives or whatever higher ups wouldn't like him to just make handshake deals with random mercenaries, and so they Darby's a bit unsure on that level, but I'm more inclined to think that he is somebody that's trying to get out of the corpo system for his own gain, however that might be.
Yeah. Just, like on a meta level as a game master, I think that Hashi is kind of like an experiment for me to see, like, what will it take for the players to trust the corpo? You know what I mean? What does he have to do? How far does he have to go, within reason, for the players to be like, maybe this guy isn't what we thought he was. Maybe he's not like the other corpos, or maybe not all corpos are bad. And he even tries to tell you guys, like, hey, I know you see me in this suit and you already have made up your mind about me, but I'm telling you that this is who I am and this is what I'm all about, and I haven't lied to you. And like, either that's going to send the players into more paranoia that like, oh, that's what that's what a slimy corpo would say if they want to get our trust, or it might have them go, hey, maybe we're judging this guy a little too harshly. So what do you guys think about all that?
No, I was definitely the first one. If it was me, I was definitely thinking, yeah, this guy's clever. Like, he's not coming in. And if I was going to work, if I needed some disposable peons, this I might speak to them as well. If I was the corpo.
Yeah.
It said a lot though, didn't it, in that final session that he walked in with no bodyguards or anything. Like, we could have just blasted them away at the doorway, really, if we wanted to.
Yeah, but I think he's smart enough to know that we're smart enough to know that would not end well for us, probably.
Yeah. And that's also not our style. We're not. That's one thing that our group is, and we're not messy. It doesn't seem like we have certain values that we're trying to adhere to.
All right, interesting. I'm gonna have fun with that.
Can I ask John? Did the name Arata just happen by chance, or did you actually do that as like a clue to us?
No, that was
Like
Theo. That was North. North. He's in his backstory.
So he actually came up with the name, right?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know who came up with the actual name. All right.
Yeah. North came up with the name. He's like a rat. You know what? Arata. You know what I mean?
Oh, makes sense.
I think I saw it on like a Google, like men's names, Japanese men's names. I was like, oh, that's too perfect.
Yeah. So it worked out just right. Very cinematic, Let's talk about it. I think everybody's favorite NPC is Heavyset. Heavyset, the leader of Maelstrom East. He runs that end of Maelstrom. After you guys killed Chromebreak, he basically kind of took over that situation. And I want your guys' opinion on what you think about him. He's, maybe a little bit cyber psycho, maybe a little bit cool, maybe a little, definitely crazy, but also kind of charming at the same time, charismatic, a guy that you want to hang out with, but maybe not too long. So, give me your ideas about him.
It's my boy. Like, I love him. I love me some Heavyset. I know he's not long for this world now. It's going to break my heart when finally he does trundle off this mortal coil. But, I was really happy with Heavyset until we saw him last, and now it's like, okay, chickens come home to roost now. We've pushed it a bit too far with the old technology. Yeah. So unfortunately, I think.
Well, he had free will. He wanted Bozo tech, and he's got all of the Bozo tech on him. So he's happy.
What was it that Doc said?
it.
Like, he's not got long, is what Doc said. He's like, he's a ticking time bomb. Like, yeah. Oh my God.
It's Darby sounds like a parent now talking to North. It's what he wanted, son. It was a choice. Don't be sad.
Time to take him to be put down. Let's take him to the vet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean Darby. He's way too chaotic for Darby's liking, to be honest. Like, Darby doesn't understand the Maelstrom way of like brutality everywhere. So he's never really chimed with Heavyset, to be honest. So he keeps them as far away from him as he can. Really, is what Darby likes to do.
Heavyset's that anime character that's absolutely brutal and menacing, but he just loves being himself. He knows what he is, and he's just so happy, and it's sort of charming in a way.
No, character-wise, he's brilliant, but yeah, Darby-wise, he doesn't like him.
Yeah, I think also if Slink were to say something, Slink is like afraid of him, but also it's like he's a psycho, but he's our psycho. He's on our side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wasn't Slink actually hiding behind him through the Bozo side?
Exactly,
So,
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
She's got a special bond with him now. They're brothers in arms. So.
Yeah, and he almost died. You know, I did the deaths. I did the death saves. If I failed, he would have died. The character would have been gone. But you know, and maybe a part of him did die that day because he's kind of a different person now. You know. So definitely the definition of a loose cannon, but he has so much power. He's kind of like an orc war boss, you know, leading with power. And I think he's an interesting addition to like your allies. Because now he's even more powerful because that's how the Maelstrom work. They work with power, just like the orcs, you know, in 40K, they're, you know, the big boss is the big boss. And, that just adds to the legendary status of the players and their characters. Is they got the Bozos backing and the Maelstrom backing now. Yeah. So yeah.
When we first encountered them, I really didn't think we would make such a strong alliance with them. Like, we've been with them Heavyset right through the campaign, haven't we?
Yeah, and it went from like, oh, this guy's a little scary and weird, you know, let's keep our distance, to like him being like, hey, I like you guys, I respect you guys. and it was all logical, you know, it wasn't just me like giving you the Maelstrom. You guys impressed them with the way that you carry yourselves and the way that you know, there's a reason why they are backing you. And you guys brought up Fuji-san. They didn't care about Fuji-san, but they're like, hey, but if we're working with you, then okay. You know what I mean? We'll entertain all that. So
it was all because of Theo's big punch.
Yeah.
That sealed the deal.
Yeah.
Big punch.
Big punch.
Liverpool style. Earn respect with your fists.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely like hooligan style. Definitely. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. You know, having that guy, and then also, you know, I have to mention that your main buyer for Blue Lace Plus and dealer for Blue Lace Plus is the Maelstrom and Heavyset, and you know, I kind of hinted at it, but they're also getting high on the supply. You know what I mean? So that's going to lead to all kinds of craziness too, I'm sure. But yeah, you have a pipeline, you know, as long as you can get the precursors, which now you guys have to figure out how to get the next precursors. As long as you can get the precursors, you got the dealers, and you're making your money. You know what I mean? And for Maelstrom, they're making their money too. So it's a fruitful relationship. And like disconnecting from the Maelstrom might be harder than disconnecting with Fuji-san at this point
Yeah.
because of how much money they're making from you guys.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Bozos. All right. The Bozos are a mysterious group in Night City. Nobody knows about them. On face value, they're killer clowns, sadistic clowns. And there's plenty of party gangs in Night City and sadistic gangs that dress up like all kinds of other characters. But these guys are a little bit different, and you guys have found that out personally. What are your opinions on the Bozos' hierarchy, their agenda, what they're all about? What are you thinking the future with the Bozos will look like?
Absolutely mental.
I don't think there is one.
It's very one-sided because we've got no contact with them, but they can contact us. It seems.
I don't think. I think with the AI they're getting involved with, obviously right now, I think there isn't one. I think we are. There is another situation that we're going to have to extricate ourselves from eventually. But I think weirdly, unlike the Maelstrom and the Corpos, it might actually be easy to coexist with the Maelstrom because of Aura, because she's there, and we're like her protectors. We're like her people. So as long as it's doing our own thing. Yeah. I don't think I think weirdly, it might be on having the Bozos on side. The craziest people in the room are the most sane. You know, like they're the ones who have an agenda, and you know they may ask us one day to release Aura. You know, into the. I think one day it's time to go beyond the black wall. You know, and throw her over there and see what happens. But we'll see. I mean. Generally, those are my thoughts on the Maelstrom.
Yeah. I think our parley and our sort of confrontation with the Bozos in the second last penultimate session, I honestly gave me a lot more questions probably than I had answers to from that, because I mean, I don't know whether what we encountered is truly what the Bozos are, or whether we were encountering some puppet Bozos that this AI or some sort of entity is managing to manipulate them into what we perceive as the Bozos. I'm a little bit worried about how much they knew about our sort of history. Like, I don't know. I mean, how they knew all that intricate information and stuff like that. But I mean, that kind of lends itself to an AI super entity or whatever that's digging up all sorts of dirt on us that we don't even know about. But yeah, it's very one-sided. I think as North said, as long as we're custodians of Aura and Aura's happy with us, and I think they will be happy with us, which is not a very good balance to have, really. Like, it's very one-sided.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I want your guys' opinion on what you think the purpose of the gauntlet was, because that's what they called the whole combat encounter. You know, what purpose? Why did they want to do it that way? You know, and if it is an AI, what's the purpose of, you know, putting you guys through a combat encounter like that, and then, you know, to what end, right?
Yeah,
I think it's mainly a determination measure, maybe, like how much that they want this, how much, you know, they're willing to put up with, you know, and maybe that's the way an AI feels. An AI has to feel and prod the world with the tools that it has, and if an AI's got a hold of the Bozos, they like combat, so maybe that's something else that was going on.
Yeah, I think it maybe is like, it's trying to determine our value by pushing us to the limit of. I mean, I think we were pretty much at the limit of our abilities. I mean, we probably could have survived a few more rounds of extra Bozos, but I feel like we were stretched pretty thin by the end. But so maybe that is it. Maybe like a computer is trying to work out the value that we have to it.
Maybe if we fit in the code of the plan, or whatever that plan is, or the objective, are we the puzzle piece that fits nicely into whatever they're trying to do?
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. There was the whole incident with the quantum processor and absorbing the AI, and you know, that could have been the catalyst for what happened with you guys. But that was definitely something that, you know, put you on the map for them. If they weren't already observing you guys, there is a kind of like Big Brother idea of like they know everything about you, they're watching everything, they have everything, they'll contact you, you won't contact them, you know. So it leads more, it just adds to the mystery of like, you know, who are they, what do they want, what are their motivations, we don't know. But if they like you, that's even weirder, you know what I mean? So there's all that. So the last thing I'll talk about is at the end of the campaign, we got a glimpse of an NCPD detective. He was hanging out in front of the building, lit a cigarette, looked at the building, nodded, got back in his car and drove away. What do you think that NCPD detective wants from you guys?
Yeah, that actually skipped my mind. Now you mentioned it, I remember. that should have questioned it more at the time. It's I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to think of that really right now. Maybe
To be honest, what went through my mind, and it was actually only after the session. Obviously, Doc doesn't know this, but I thought, oh my word, what if Tara snitched? Tara, the assistant,
right,
Doc's old assistant, and I'm like, my word, if she snitched and Doc finds out, my word, shit's gonna go down. But I mean, it could be just General Blue Lace has gotten out of control and it's put the fuzz on us. But yeah, the Doc's gonna have some questions for Tara if this detective now starts asking about Blue Lace once she's just left. But yeah, I don't know, whatever you've got planned.
Yeah, let's ask John. What do you think it is?
I'll tell you guys everything. I mean, it's good to keep in mind that you guys are working with gangs too. You know, there's been a lot of bodies stacked wherever you guys go. You guys are working with a corporation that works with gangs. So you're definitely committing crimes every day. You know what I mean? So
little ones.
Little ones. You know, in the grand. At the end of the day, the cops still have to do cop work. You know what I mean? So yeah. You know, it is what it is.
Am I right in thinking that that's our first interaction, or not really interaction, but with the NCPD? In all of the sessions.
Yeah.
Kind of amazing.
Yeah.
So that's
well, because for the most part, you guys haven't killed any innocent people. You guys haven't done any, you know, the people that you've killed were in the circles of, you know, in crime circles, you know, so it's like the trash taking out itself in the mind of the NCPD. They have so much to deal with that if two gangs are killing each other, like good, you know, less for us to worry about, you know. But, you know, and like I said, you're not disrupting commerce. You're not disrupting public areas. If you guys were murder hobos just blasting on in the middle of the street, you know, then I would say like, yeah, the cops are coming. You know, in the first encounter, you guys shot up the nightclub where the Maelstrom were at, but it's a known Maelstrom hangout. So everybody in there knows that this is a Maelstrom club. And there was no collateral damage. Everybody ran out as soon as the shooting started. And the cops were on their way, but you guys left before they could, you know, have any investigation. And no one's going to snitch. They don't work with cops, you know. So, you know, other than that, you know, I can't think of a situation where the cops, you know, would be onto you, right?
I've just remembered also that didn't Sovoil say that they were going to look into where this quantum chip went to? Like they were going to do more investigation. So I don't know whether, because we've not heard anything about. Obviously, we found when we got back to base or back to the digs that or had absorbed the entity, but when we were speaking to Sovoil, we obviously didn't know where it had gone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because also you guys don't know what happened either. You did your job, right? You did what they asked you to do.
I'm just wondering if they'll trace it back somehow. They look at network logs or something and realize that there was this shotgun blast type connection that Aura did and wittingly absorbed this other entity at that time.
Well, I'll tell you this, I'm not saying anything you don't already know, but they're a giant corporation with a lot of resources. So, if anybody's going to find out what happens, could be them,
No, I'm just wondering if that could be part of the NCPD. I'm just throwing it into the mix of because I mean, maybe Sovoil, they'd just do it off their own backs, would they? They wouldn't involve NCPD.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's it. Anything else you guys want to add about the campaign or the future of the campaign or?
Only that I really enjoyed it, man. So thank you very much for bringing us on board and having some fun with us. It's been amazing. It's been awesome. Really good experience.
Yeah, all of the behind the scenes is really good. Thanks.
I do want to say, also loving what you're doing, John. I want to see more gangs. I want to see the mocks. I want to see 6th Street. See what you do with that. Oh, it's so good. And of course, we all want a guest appearance live streamed with Johnny Silverhand himself, Keanu Reeves. I know you can pull it off.
I'll work my magic. I'll work my magic.
Just pull him in for somewhere.
Get Keanu Reeves on stream.
That would be amazing, But yeah, no, the feeling's mutual, guys. Having good players makes it easy for me to be a good GM. So you guys have awesome ideas, and I've just been reacting to what you guys give me. If you look at my notes, they're very sparse. It's like general ideas, and then you guys go with it, and then that leads me to new sparse notes, and that's how we've been going throughout this campaign. So it's a lot of fun.
All of the table setup and that, and all behind the scenes stuff like what I was saying with the contracts and various other things along the way. That's above and beyond.
Oh, dude, it's so fun, and knowing that the stuff that I'm making is actually getting used and being, it's working and all that. That's the whole idea of it. I'm not over preparing. It's just the right amount of preparation, and it's being used significantly. So it's a dream come true, dude. So thank you to all the fans as well. Thank you all for listening and watching and all your kind words.
Can I just interject one main important question?
Yeah.
And it's for Theo. And it's the question everyone wants to know is Theo's heart with Giselle or Himiko?
Ooh, yeah. What's going to happen there?
I don't know. I've got no idea. We'll see. I might just roll dice. We'll see.
Yeah. Well,
and I'm thinking definitely Giselle, because she's saved his life and all that. But Himiko's hot stuff as well. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well, anyone who could literally kill you at the same time as
I think that's Leo's type.
Certain jeopardy going on there. That's kind of chaotic.
Yeah.
Leo's type is basically, can't you kill me? Yes. Okay.
I love it.
That book.
Okay.
All right. If there's nothing else you guys want to add, thank you so much. We'll see you guys on the next one. Stay tuned for whatever we got going on there. Make sure you support Northern Exile. You go and subscribe to his channel. You do all those things. He's working on some really cool stuff for Warhammer 40K. And we're going to be working on that together. We'll do a little bit of a demo for stuff like that. He also writes RPGs, and his horror stories or Jesus Christ, why is it tabletop? What are they called? Tabletop? No. The horror stories. Are they called horror stories? Hobby Nightmares.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. His Hobby Nightmares are amazing. It's all the same kind of stuff that we've all been through, and I love hearing it. I love the stories. I can relate with them so much. So check those out. But yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much. Take care, and we love you all.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.